Good morning, guys. Chirag here from Equity, guys. So, today we will be going over the view for the 10th of July. So, first, we'll be going over what happened yesterday. So, yesterday we see that it formed an inside candlestick pattern on the day time frame, and we see that exactly we go from the S1 to the S2 here, and we stayed within this range itself. And this range again is going to be very important for today too. So let's see the data that is happening or that is formed today. So we see that Nifty is trading, Nifty and compared to Nifty futures is trading at a positive about 70 points, with Bank Nifty and Bank Nifty futures trading at a positive of 150 points. We see that India fix is down again of another 2%. That means it is showing on the upside. It is a bullish data right there, and both Nifty and Bank Nifty compared to the futures segments is also showing bullish data. Now, crude oil is trading at the same, approximately the same levels as yesterday, just down 7 points or 0.1%. So we again, this is we're still at bullish levels, so nothing to be worried about with crude oil there. Uh, Regarding the gap up or gap down, we might see a slight gap up to a neutral opening with with how Gift Nifty is opening, just about 24 points higher, right? And that should really not be a problem there. Moving on to Nifty Bs and Bank Bs, both of them did close negative yesterday, with both silver and gold Bs also closing 1% and almost half percent down yesterday. So moving on to the sectoral indices, we see that there's a huge amount of selling in some of the key areas such as IT, metal, and even a little bit in oil and gas. So this is not necessarily a positive data, leaning towards the bearish side when it comes to the selling here. So, and then we can also see in the NSE data that the advanced decline ratio is quite neutral, slightly leaning towards a positive, very, very slightly, but still overall very, very neutral levels in the NSE data. Moving towards FII DII activity, we see that in the in the cash market, at least that both the FIIs and DIIs are buying. FII is buying very slightly at around 77 crores, but DII is going at almost 920 crores. So, but in the FNO segment, we still see that the FIIs have been selling in the futures and options, especially the index futures and index options. We see heavy selling there. Whereas looking at stock futures and stock options, we see that in the stock future segment, they have been selling, but in the option segment, there is a good amount of buying that's come back into the market, which is positive, which is what we want to see. Overall, the data is a little negative here, though, with a lot of selling from the FIIs. If you want to see the market move up in those 200, 300 point rallies, we have to see the FIIs come back in there. But till then, as of now, only buying in the stock options. Moving towards advanced decline ratio, we see in Nifty 50 that it is again neutral but slightly leaning towards the negative side. But 22 advances, 28 declines is still you're having it on the neutral side. Whereas Bank Nifty is spot on neutral with 6 and 6 on each side. Now moving towards option chain. Option chain is again interesting today because we have calls, which is on the left hand side. The change in calls is negative both in the money and out of the money. As you can see here on both sides, there is a negative change in LTP. So when you see a negative change in LTP here, you see that calls are calls are negative here, whereas in the money puts are being bought. You see a lot of buying here, and out of the money puts are being sold, and you can see the puts on the right hand side. Now, what does this mean for the markets? This means that the markets are having a tendency to go down based on the option chain here. So a lot of bearish data coming from the option chain. Moving to back to the global indices, you see that Dow Jones, S&P, and Nasdaq all close positive, with Dow Jones being 0.5%, S&P being again close to about 0.5%, and Nasdaq close to about 1%. Whereas the European markets also had a phenomenal closing there. DAX with 1.5%, CAC with 1.5%, and just FTSE with a slight neutral closing, about just a positive of 0.15%. But again, really good closing in the European markets here. And we also see that the Asian markets here, with Nikkei being down 0.5% today morning, and Hang Seng is actually not even open here, but then, sorry, Hang Seng is open with about being lower about 1% here. And finally, moving on to the ADRs, we see that there is a lot of selling in a lot of key companies like Infosys and Wipro, but there is also buying in companies like ICICI and HDFC. We overall do see a little bit of negative data here itself, with more selling than buying, showing a little bit of bearish tendencies. So then that comes to what will be the view for today. So the view for today again is very simple. With how much consolidation we've been seeing in the past couple of days, and the candlestick patterns that we have been forming in the day time frame, which is a hammer, a doji, another green candle here, and with the S1 and S2 being respected yesterday, I do think that you're going to have a move on the upside again for today. Now, what are the important levels? Again, S1, S2 are very important levels that need to be marked. So, in S1 and S2, as long as S1 is respected, and as long as in the 15-minute time frame we see that S1 is also being respected, you are going to see a positive move on the upside. And in if S1 is not respected, that is when we start seeing the sell-offs coming in, which is not going to be good at all for the markets. But then, as long as S1 is respected, we see that it is going to move up, and we are going to have a buy on dip market for today, is what the view is overall. But everybody, you trade the setup, that whatever is coming on the screen. For again setups, you can contact equity guys. We can also teach you guys some setups. And overall, I think everybody have a great day trading. Please don't forget to share and like if you like the video. Also do subscribe, and so that you don't miss out on any of the future videos and all the updates that we keep posting. And hope you guys have a great day trading, and thank you for tuning in.